The Rock and Roll and Coffee Show is brought to you by Retroactive, located at Broadway at the Beach in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, taking you back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s. ShopRetroactive.com. Pick up your bottle of the Rock and Roll and Coffee Show Hot Rockin' Hot Sauce now at Retroactive or rnrcoffeeshow.com.
It's the Rock and Roll and Coffee Show. Yeah, with Joe.
All right, so last time you were on the show, we were talking about your first song, Favorite Songs. It was the title of that one. And that one, if I recall, it was just you at the time, right? You didn't have the band yet?
Nope, it was just me and my dad.
Right,
And
right.
music video, we had my buddy Logan, who is in my live band now. And then we had Ryan and Alex from a band called AMH, and Ryan still fills in here to, time to time.
Right, right. Okay. And now you have a song with the whole band, Young, Wild, and Free. It's been doing fantastic for you. Tell me about this song, this new song.
Well, I mean, this song, it's a different turn than favorite songs. The inspiration for the song is I really, really wanted a summer fun song because I feel like my generation and, music nowadays kind of gets caught up in a lot of the serious stuff. And I'm not saying that this song is tongue in cheek, but, its sole purpose, the only purpose is to have fun, and that's not a whole lot of songs are doing that nowadays. I mean, there's songs that are, kind of fun, but this, it takes you back. It's like a summer of '69 or like a summer nights off of 5150 or nothing but a good time or something like that. It's a song purely just about going out, hanging with your friends and truly, having fun.
And I think you captured that in this song. I mean, because it's definitely a feel good song. It makes you happy. It's a sing along song. Now, last time you were on as well, you spoke about a song that was a anthem song. Was that this song? Do you remember?
No, it was actually not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we felt like we have about 4 or 5 songs that are in the demo stages, I guess you could say. And we really thought that, we should focus on this one and hammer this one out. We felt like this was the appropriate second song.
Tell me about the gang vocals, because I like that.
I love big choruses, man. I think a lot of people that even don't like Hailstorm, for example, they're not part of that whole 80s genre, but you'll hear Lizzie Hale always talk about how much she's a sucker for big 80s choruses. And so am I. Every single song we do, man, I love incorporating, harmonies and then gang vocals. It's very much Youth Gone Wild, Skid Row. I think last time I saw you, me and you were at Skid Row together, right? Or no, I've seen you since then.
No, it was that last time I saw you, I think was at M3. I was with your dad.
M3, and then the time before that, it was at the House of Blues in Myrtle Beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we ran into each other a couple times.
Right. And it's funny, every time I'm getting sidetracked right now. Every time I go into Amy's shop at Retroactive down there at Myrtle Beach, don't you have do you have some product there, right? Or
hot
something?
Sauce.
Yeah, your hot sauce there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's every time I go to Myrtle Beach, I just see something about you at Amy's shop too. Amy's great too. But back to what we were saying though, I love gang vocals because there's something about them that, you think from an artist standpoint, crowd engagement, gang vocals, is the best way to get your crowd engaged. And when it comes to anything, it could be like the whoa, whoa, whoas, or it could be, words, like not everybody might know all the words to, Youth Gone Wild, but you know what everybody knows? Youth Gone Wild. They know that punch. So it's like if you don't know all the words to Young, Wild, and Free, at least you'll know Young, Wild, and Free. You get that punch. And I love gang vocals. So we had everybody on that, more than just my band. We had some of the members of the Brent Michaels band, like Becky, were singing it and everything. We had as many vocals as we could.
Was that your idea?
Yeah, 100%, of course. It's I don't want to say the wrong thing here, like I was fighting my dad on it, but I kept saying bigger, 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 bigger. There's that one point, where, we were struggling, like it was, you could still hear my lead vocal in it. And then they were almost like kind of like background vocals, and I'm like, dude, no, I don't want them to be background vocals. I want it to be like gang vocals.
Did your dad engineer it and
Yeah,
record you? He did
all of it.
everything, mixed it and
Engineered,
everything.
produced, all of it.
How is it working with your dad in the studio?
I mean, amazing. I mean, he's besides being a great guitar player, he's done engineering and producing work with Shinedown, Paramore, Miley Cyrus, Brett, everybody. So it's not just the fact that he's accessible to me because he's my dad and at the home studio and everything. It's the fact that he's also, more so than a guitar player, an extremely talented producer. So that's probably the greatest asset to the band. And it's like, a lot of people will ask, like my dad's kind of like the manager of the band. And it's not because he's a dad. It's not because, it's not like a dadager or whatever you call it. It's because of how many, assets he has. And he actually, even if he wasn't my dad, he'd be such a great manager to any other bands. And that's,
Is he hard on you in the studio? Does he
yes.
push you?
Yeah, I mean 1,000%, and that's what I want. If you ever come to one of my shows, you'll see. I got to word this very carefully. It's very easy for a lot of people to soak up in the positivity because everybody, no matter who you are, will kiss your ass after a show and just tell you how amazing you were. The first thing I go to are the negatives. I ask, anybody that's a musician in the audience, professional, what did I do wrong and how can I get better? Because I mean, I always strive to be perfect. I know everybody says, a lot of people say that's, unhealthy to strive for perfection because nobody's that. But I mean, there's always going to be somebody better. There's always a bigger fish. So I'm always going to be trying to work harder to be the best version I can be at my shows and in the studio. When I recorded Young, Wild, and Free, I probably had 100 perfect takes, but I sang that chorus alone probably 500 times. Just recorded it. You could probably go into the Pro Tools file and see there's thousands of audio recordings, line by line in the verse and everything. We just keep doing it. The song was perfect a year ago. We had the song a year ago, and we didn't release it until June because we just kept getting better and better and better. We performed it actually. We opened up for my dad and Brett at a new arena up in Leesburg, Virginia called Ion Arena. And we performed it there, and it was in November, almost a year ago. So the song was done at that point. But, just a recording process, every day you get better, especially when you're this young and I guess you could say amateur, that you don't really hit a roadblock where I'm at. I get better every single day versus, like the 50-year-old players, are at their peak or kind of past their peak. I'm still working towards it. Even favorite songs took over a year to make because every time we went into the studio, we thought it was done, and then I would sing it 20 times better the next day.
How do you think you're progressing as a singer?
A whole lot, a whole lot. I think, I don't think I'm great or amazing yet, but I mean, I never give myself enough credit because I like being hard on myself, like we said. But there's some times where I gotta, I kind of take it back. I'm like, I couldn't do that a year ago, or I couldn't do that 2 years ago. It's like even my dad will say in the studio, I'll record a line. He's like, last year that would have taken 20 times, and you just got it pitch perfect the first time. And I think playing live is the biggest thing that's helped me because I mean, when I was recording favorite songs, I didn't have any live experience, and it takes a way better singer to be a live singer than a studio singer because a studio singer, you could just be there all day, every day, just re-recording or pitch correct and everything versus on stage, you have to get it pitch perfect right then and there, no second chances. I mean, you could mess up, but you don't, you just, I don't believe in messing up. I don't believe in laughing it off. You have to get everything so perfect. And that has, kind of elevated me to being, a way better singer than I was when I recorded favorite songs. And you could hear it. I mean, even in favorite songs, you listen back, there's not really any pitch correction, but you could hear, a lot of overproducing on my voice versus this one is very raw because it's just, I've gotten naturally just better at it. And I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't sound cocky, like, oh, I've gotten so much better, oh, I'm so good. But, like I said, where people are at their peak or in their 50s where, they're at a roadblock where they can't get much better. I feel like I'm still climbing that mountain and I'm taking big steps and I feel like I keep getting better every day.
Have you picked up any good pointers from all the shows you've been doing? You mentioned doing live shows, and all your shows have been pretty high profile shows with bigger
Yeah.
bands.
I mean,
So,
all of them. Like I said, it ties back to what I was saying earlier about the first thing I'll do is I'll go to somebody that I know watch the show that's a musician whose opinion I trust. You know, like for example, the last show we did was a week ago, and we were over playing at the Whiskey A Go Go in LA, and that was with Faster Pussycat. And Chad, the drummer, um, was out watching, and the first thing I did, sweating my balls off stage, was I ran to Chad and I said, "Let's go upstairs." So me and him, just one on one, went right upstairs to the dressing room in the Whiskey, and we just talked for 15 minutes about the entire show, the good things, some of the bad things, just things that, kind of move on. So it's like that's just one small example of every show I will try to get advice from, people's who opinions I trust. I mean, the show before that, or two shows before that, we did a massive show with Night Ranger up in Delaware. And I know Carrie Kelly and Brad Gillis were all watching, and everybody gives really great advice. We played a show with Warrant, and the Warrant guys, they were probably the first band out of my dad's friends that I really got to hang out with and kind of grow up with. So they're always super nice to me, and they'll give me advice all the time too. So every show I'm at, I will always try to grab the advice.
so Young, Wild, and Free. Now, did you write the lyrics for this?
Uh, so yes, um, I'd say so. The writing process was the idea was, it was definitely my idea about, the young, wild, and free. I came up with probably, let's say, I came up with the lyrics, and what happens is we'll go into the studio, and if something doesn't really flow well, then my dad would be like, okay, we need to change this word or that word. So like that's where it gets kind of tricky. Like, yes, I kind of wrote it. And for the second verse specifically, me and my guitar player, other Gavin Hades, in the second verse, he was kind of there. We were bouncing off ideas off of each other for the second verse, but the whole idea and story of Young, Wild, and Free was something that I came up with.
Mm-hmm. And
But
does lyric writing come easy to you?
not at all.
No.
Not at all. Because I'm a perfectionist. I think anybody could bust out, a million tongue-in-cheek lyrics. And you'll love it one day, and then the next day you read it and you're like, ah, shit, I came up with that. It's like it. The song we're working on now, it's a big adrenaline song, right? And I was having such a hard time writing the words, and it took me forever to write the words. And I just kind of let go. I'm like, you know what? This song, it doesn't need to be some deep story. It could be tongue in cheek. And then once I, allowed myself to think, oh, it could be tongue in cheek, then I wrote the entire song in an hour, basically. But as far as, Young, Well, and Free, like I said, it's all about fun. But there's a lot of, beats in the song, as for lyrically that kind of, tell a story, and what a lot of people are saying kind of connects with them. So I was trying to pull out of emotions that I felt and nostalgia I felt for, hanging out with my friends in the summer, whether that be, as recent or even, in middle school or high school or something like that, and try to feel the emotional beats and put them into a song so people could kind of connect. So it's like, as far as that, Young, Wild, and Free, I wouldn't say it's tongue in cheek. It has a lot of emotional beats in it, but in a very fun way. You know, so that definitely took me a long time to write.
Did it? Okay. What's
Yeah,
the name of the new song? Do you have a title you can say?
it's called Redline. It is about kind of living your life to the fullest. We performed it at the Whiskey A Go Go. It's about, how when you drive a car, the RPMs could redline, and that means you're pushing it too far. the song is kind of about living your life that way, like live like nothing matters. You don't just play your music, play it fucking, loud as shit, play it louder, drive your car even faster, take this over the limit. It's very much like a kickstart your heart, go past your limit type of song. The message. I thought it was interesting, kind of touching on the subject of redlining. I'm like, what, you could redline this, like on, music. There's the thing, I forgot like what it's called, but you could redline on a speaker or something like that. You could redline in a car. I'm like, I want to write a song about kind of redlining your life, if that makes sense, kind of living it to the fullest. And I think it's a cool idea, and we'll see how it turns out. It's pretty much, it's still, we haven't done enough to perform live, but it's definitely not the final recording yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the band a little bit, because now these are all fairly new members except Logan, right? You said he
Yes.
was with you before, but you've got what, 4 other members? How many
It's,
members in the band? 5?
right now we're at 5. Um,
Were you planning for more?
well, well, sometimes like a hometown show that's very big, we might have a keyboard player. It's like favorite songs has strings, and it's like if we have like a 15 song set, we might have a keyboard player for like 5 of those songs, just to make because we do Still the Night, that whole middle part. Um, but right now, we got Logan Blake, who is who was my first guitar player. He's my long time high school buddy. He was in the Favorite Songs music video too. Then on lead guitar, we got Gavin Hades, who I'm not sure if you've met Gavin yet. Did you meet Gavin at M3?
Was he
Or
there at the acoustic show?
not the acoustic show. He was there the night that Brett played.
Okay. Yeah, I played with your dad at the acoustic show. That was the only, I didn't
Oh,
go
really?
to the M3.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he, when he joined the band, he was 16 years old. We got him right after our first live show in January. Steven has been with us since our first live show, but he wasn't part of the whole favorite songs thing. And as far as bass players go, we got Max Meyer, who he's awesome because he, before joining this band and still, he's a sound guy, and he teaches. He's 19 and he teaches bass. He teaches harmonies and he teaches guitar. So he is a
Oh, wow.
musician. He when he
Yeah.
came to harmonies, just the band just got so much tighter when he joined the band too. And he is such a tech guy too, that he helps us at shows and stuff. But he gets so busy sometimes. So we'll have Ryan from AMH fill in when he can't do a show too. So kind of a mix back and forth. But yeah, that's the band, the Young Wild and Free lineup.
Yeah. So these guys, you guys don't all live around each other, right? You guys are
No.
separated. So how'd you
So
find everybody?
yeah, I mean, I kind of made a decision when I was, starting the bands of, every town has a couple good players, but to be in this band, you got to check like 10 boxes. I don't know what all 10 are right off the top of my head, but you got to be young, you got to be energetic in a very respectful way. You got to be decent looking, meaning, you know what I mean by that. You can't, you know, um, you got to be, energetic. You got to be a great musician. You got to be able to sing. You got to be able to commit yourself. Committing yourself is a massive thing, and not every town has 5 members that could do that. So it's like you could have a couple School of Rock kids or something like that here and there, but there's not a whole lot locally. So I decided, what, I'm going to get what I consider to be the best of the best, all within a 4-hour radius. So it's like Steven, my drummer, he's 4 hours south of me. He's in Southern Virginia, kind of like the Norfolk area, Virginia Beach. Um, then Gavin and Max are in Ocean City, Maryland. So another 4 hours crossing. Logan lives by me. So it's just I figured, it's a lot of gas money, it's a lot of commitment, lots of time to get practices going. But I would rather a really, really, really good band of 5 good members rather than maybe, a local band that has 2 good members and the rest are just kind of deadbeat, you know.
So how often do you guys get together to rehearse?
Um, you know, this year has been a little bit slower as we've gotten better at being musicians and tighter as a band. Prior to this year, we would, at least once a week, maybe twice a week. Now it's like maybe once every other week, maybe twice a month or something like that. But when we do it, it's we make a whole day out of it. In fact, I think we're about to do a 2-day practice next week. I think we're all going to go up and stay at Gavin's house in Ocean City and just, we're going to write, do things for, 2 days consecutive.
Right. I was going to ask about, because I know you do a lot of covers in your set now, right?
Yeah.
So are you guys writing new material besides the one song, the Redline
Yeah. I
song?
mean, we have probably, we have at least probably like 10 ideas, but as far as, songs that are started, we have probably about 3 or 4 that are, past idea phase, but not 100% at demo phase yet. Kind of that sweet spot. So yeah, we are writing and trying to get together as much as we can.
So how has the writing process changed with a full band now compared to, say, a year ago when you didn't have your full band? Is everybody putting their input in?
Yeah, so it's complicated. It's funny. We all have so many different takes and styles. It's like I have always been kind of the 80s guy, and versus Steve and my drummer, he loves the 80s stuff too, but as far as his drum skills go, he's very like Avenged Sevenfold, like double bass, triple bass, every fucking note kind of guy. um and everybody has their own kind of ideas, and it was hard at first because when I have an idea and I want to get it out, I don't I'd never really liked the whole kind of, letting somebody else in the creative process, they changing your idea. It took me a long time to kind of warm up to that, because it's like I have this awesome idea and now you guys are taking it and kind of spinning it in a way I don't like. But now we're so open. This new song is going to be all of us, equally together, and it's going to sound so cool.
Is there a plan for a full album, or are you going to stick with singles? What's the plan with that?
It's tricky. I would 100%, 1,000% love to put out a full album. I definitely have my ideas as far as an album. I get really excited about that stuff because it's for, singles could be one-off songs, and I kind of like when albums kind of almost have like an arc. Like sometimes an album from the first track to the last track paints a picture and paints a story. I definitely have a lot of really cool ideas as far as like an album goes, but in the position that we're in, we're not really working towards an album. We're putting out as many high quality singles as possible to kind of get enough traction and recognition to, maybe be recognized by a record label here and there, sometime in the future. And, that will lead to the funding for a full album.
Do you think a band needs a full album these days? What's your feelings on that?
Well, it's hard. I'm an album guy. I love albums. I love it when a band puts out an album, because it's you get to hear more of their sound. But at the end of the day, your fans care about an album. But I mean, all it takes is one song for you to go viral. It's like, name any artist ever. Fucking, I'm just Alanis Morissette, for example. Everybody knows "Ironic," but not everybody knows the whole album. I only know like maybe 3 Alanis Morissette songs. So it's like you definitely do not need an album, because you could play stadiums if you have one song that is the biggest song in the country. So you don't really need an album. But it's just I like albums. I don't know if that necessarily answers the question, but I don't think you need an album. But hey, I like albums, and I think it pleases your fans when they could hear more of you.
We used to call those bands with the viral songs back in the day one-hit wonders.
Right. I mean, but it's the truth, man. I mean, Mama Let Me Go to the Show didn't put Poison on the stadium tour. Back to the Rocking Horse didn't put Poison on the stadium tour. You're All I Need didn't put Motley Crue on the stadium tour. You know what I'm saying? So it's like albums are fucking cool, and I love all of those songs, but that's not what does it for you. You know, it's one big song.
So where do you see the Gavin Evick Band fitting in the music scene today? Like, where do you see you guys fitting?
You know, I at first I was really, really about kind of like the '80s hard rock revival, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that those are my inspirations, but every band has their inspirations that but make themselves their own. Like you listen to anybody, like I said, Hailstorm, Lizzie Hale, she fucking loves all the '80s stuff, loves it, but she's Hailstorm. She's not Cinderella, you know. Nickelback, they love Metallica, Pantera, all that old Motley Crue stuff. They fucking love it, but they're Nickelback. They're not Motley Crue or Pantera. And I've come to the realization that, not realization, but, like it's a hard thing, but, I'm most proud of it that, I don't want to just be an '80s rock revival. I'm ready to be the Gavin Evick Band. I think with Young, Wild, and Free and this next song, you'll really kind of understand our sound. That as much as you could hear the influences, maybe you disagree, you could hear the influences in Young, Wild, and Free, but it's not a straight hair metal ripoff. I don't know if you disagree with that. It's you could hear the '80s rock influence in it. You could hear the Poison, but it's not like an in-your-face hair metal song. It's I consider it, a modern summer rock song, but you could obviously tell the influences. And that's what I want to continue to do is you could definitely, in future music, hear what I like and what I'm influenced by, but we're the Gavin Evick Band. We're not, the '80s rock revival band.
Well, I would imagine as you guys start writing more together, everyone's influences are going to change that sound a little bit.
Yeah. I almost think that, speaking of Nickelback, I almost think that this new song, Redline, sounds closer to Nickelback than anything. I don't know if you're a Nickelback guy or not.
I do like Nickelback.
Thank God, dude. I love Nickelback. I'm just saying, man.
I don't know what the hate is about Nickelback. I think they're a good band.
Yeah, Burn It to the Ground is one of my favorite songs. So yeah, I would say that this next song it definitely has a little bit of Animals by Nickelback and a little bit of Kickstart My Heart. But like I said, it's 25% Kickstart My Heart, 25% Animals, but 50%, maybe just 100% us. It is our sound, and that's something that I. It's funny watching other bands like even Greta Van Fleet. Their first album, they were very much like a Led Zeppelin sounding band, and then when their second album, I think it was, came out, everybody was like, okay, that's awesome, they found their sound finally. They're not the Led Zeppelin band anymore, they found their sound. And I'm excited to kind of evolve more as a band so people hear us as the Gavin Evick Band, not the '80s band like Greta Van Fleet was to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to hearing the new song. So is there
Yeah,
a time when you think you'll have that out, or you don't, not sure?
uh man, I'm hoping the fall. I'm hoping sometime in the fall. I mean, we just recorded the drums for it the other day, like 2 days ago. And it's so tricky when recording a song because you never know how long it takes to really kind of get it finally produced. Like I said, we had Young, Wild, and Free done almost a year ago. Not done, but in a way done. And then just kept evolving. You think a song could be done and it just evolves and evolves and evolves. So if what we have is close to the final version of the song, I see it coming out in the fall. If not, maybe around winter time, but I'm hoping sometime sooner. I'd like to be putting content out at a faster pace now.
Well, Young, Wild, and Free's been out for how long now? Maybe a month?
Yeah, it's been out for a month and maybe a week.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go back to that song because you also shot a video, very professional video, by the way.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. Tell me about that video shoot. I mean, how did that all come together?
Yeah, I'll tell everybody, man, it was literally like winning the lottery. Like everything lined up so perfectly because it was filmed at Jolly Rogers at the pier, the amusement park that's on the pier in Ocean City, Maryland. And there's lots of things we wanted to do with the video, and we just went above and beyond what we thought. We thought, maybe we could best we could do is just film us kind of outside the amusement park with the lights on and making it look cool, or maybe just driving down the Ocean City Strip. But all the parts aligned, and I got a real film crew. His name was Maurice and his guys, and we contacted the park, and they gave us the entire park for 7 hours, closed up to the public. They left the lights on, and we just thought, maybe we would just film with the lights on it. But they let us. It was like they let us ride all the rides privately too. Like we had the whole amusement park, including the rides, to ourselves. We thought we would just have the lights. So I got a stage from my production company, not my production company, but my friend here in Virginia, and I got a Ram 1500, and I put the whole stage, like 4x4 stages, stacked up taller than my truck, into my truck. And I drove all the way, 4 hours to Ocean City with the whole stage in my truck. And we just showed up at the amusement park. We hauled it in. We drove the truck in the amusement park. We set up outside, and we told everybody about the video. But we were scared because we didn't know how many people would show up. They're all our friends, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, yeah, we could come." And then the last thing, like, "Oh, we can't make it," friends and stuff. And somehow, out of all of our friends, even like our bros, like our boys that we invited, only the hot chicks showed up. So
well, that's okay.
I'm not complaining about it. It was funny. And we had a real film crew. We had the whole amusement park to ourselves, and this was just unfolding, more and more as it got closer. Usually, you got all these problems that get closer to the date, like, oh, you forgot to advance this, or forgot this or that, and it gets worse. Things just kept getting better. Oh wait, we could film in the amusement park. Oh wait, it's closed off. Oh wait, not just the lights. We could ride the rides. Oh wait, all these, young girls are here too. Not young, but my age girls are here too. And everything just aligned so perfectly. And a lot of people, I've been getting better feedback about the video more so than the than the song. And let me tell you, it's the reason the video works so well is because it was just genuine. Because everybody there, not a single soul there was an actor. Everybody was a friend having a good time. And what is a song about? On these summer nights, we're living for a good time, hanging with your friends and mine. That's what the video was. And that's why, like I said, it looks so genuine. It's friends hanging out. And we were there for 7 hours and nobody got bored. That no actors, just everybody really having a good time. So it just that's why the video works so well, because the stars align, and it more so than it being a video shoot or anything, it was just us all hanging out. Usually you would have thought everybody would have gotten bored of hearing the same song 100 times, because that we filmed it probably 100 times, and nobody got bored. Everybody was just there hanging out because it was such a fun time. That's why all the reactions in the video, everybody's smiling. It was just genuine.
It sounds fun. Sounds like it was a blast.
Yeah, that's why it worked.
Yeah. Now, you edited your first video. Did you do this one?
This one was all 100% me.
All you. Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny. In favorite songs, I'm pretty good at, just clipping, like knowing when, certain clips go certain places, and, that doesn't sound like a skill or anything, but when it comes to music videos, it's something that, you have to be good at. But I didn't know a whole lot about color grading back then. I kind of just slapped what I thought was the best filter on there. This song, I did so much research and practicing before we filmed it. Like I even got like stock shitty footage of carnivals and stuff and put it on my MacBook, and would just color grade all night, just trying to make sure all of it was great. So when I got the video, I was, pretty proficient in just color grading alone. So that's why the colors pop so well in this song, in the video too, because I spent days, just days, almost a week just color grading alone, and then clipping everything together. it was all me. I didn't have any help from anybody, any teams or anything. You know, I had a real professional film crew, but the editing was all me.
That's awesome. Well, it came out fantastic.
I appreciate it, man. I was worried about that. There's a couple not risky, but if you're a film nerd like me, you know, you need to have a good pace. And I threw a couple transitions in there that I'm like, I hope that works and I hope that's smooth. Like I had like a glitch effect in there at one point and like a high saturation zoom and another. I'm like, I hope it flows well. And everybody's saying that it did flow well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Good. Are you still interested in the movie industry and acting and stuff? I know you were
100%.
before.
In fact,
Yeah.
I had a couple phone calls literally yesterday on my way down to Myrtle Beach about how to get that rolling more too. Cause you know, I've been so focused on the music that it's like, man, if I pick up, you know, some more acting gigs, that's only going to help. I mean, like, for example, you know, you got bands like the Wallows, who I don't know a single fucking song by the Wallows. I don't know a whole lot of people that do. But they're, you know, they're doing massive, you know, amphitheater venues like Merriweather. And it's all because, you know, the lead singer was the guy in that Netflix show, 13 Reasons Why or something like that. Um, and it's like the acting and all that and being in these different projects only helps the publicity to boost the music more. Like I said, I don't know a single fucking song by the Wallows, but this guy's selling out amphitheaters because he was doing that. Um, and it's like Machine Gun Kelly, for example, MGK. You know, I might get this wrong, but you know, in like 2016, I had no idea who this guy was. And within a year, you know, he had a good gig. Oh, he was opening up for Justin Bieber. And in the same year, a movie called Bird Box came out, and he was in it. And then a movie, and you know, the fucking Dirt came out, and he played Tommy Lee in Dirt. And I didn't know any of his music. You know, I wasn't a fan of his music. In fact, I remember sitting on the couch with my family watching Bird Box, and my aunt was like, "I think that guy's a rapper or something like that." No, he wasn't a household name. But you know, the more movies he started doing, then his music elevated. He got more traction from that. So it's like we're focusing on, you know, because I did take acting lessons. I took directing lessons. I know how to edit. I know how to produce. I know how to do pretty much all the things in the movie industry. Um, so I think the next step is obviously still mostly music, but I would like to take, you know, a couple more advances and steps into the movie industry. I think it'll only help the music.
Good. Good for you, man.
Yeah,
Now you got a headlining show coming up, right? August 9th?
I do. We're preparing for that. I'm so excited for that. That's August 9th in Leesburg, Virginia. It's at a venue called the Tally Hill. I don't know if you've ever been there before.
I haven't.
I've opened up for national acts there like Lita Ford, Firehouse, Lynch Mob. I've done them all there. And it's the coolest thing to kind of, you know, you witness it sometimes watching a band grow from the audience and be like, oh, I remember when they opened up for this band 10 years ago. Now they're headlining, you know, stadiums or something like that. And, you know, that's not where we are yet, but it's definitely cool from the inside feeling that feeling of, man, I've opened for national acts at this venue. And now I've gained the status in Northern Virginia as a headliner. And that, you know, that's just such a cool feeling. So we're so looking forward to that show. We're debuting a couple new songs there. It's going to be a longer set, so we're still going to do some, you know, some more covers and stuff like that. Cause I just love playing music. You know, I definitely don't consider us a cover band because, you know, those are people that do like 3 to 4 hour sets. We don't do that. We put on a good rock show. You know, we're trying to make it now 50-50 when it comes to covers and originals. And we had the Whiskey, it was mainly originals. We only did like 2 covers and like 4 originals at the Whiskey. But you know, this show is going to be so awesome, especially being a headliner. I get to actually, there's so much things we're going to do to the stage. Like we're throwing ramps up like the old days, like Poison days. All of these, you know, with bringing in a ground package with all these lights and everything, and all, you know, we get to have all these different channels now. We're not limited to just, you know, 16 or 18 channels like an opening band is. And it's going to be so awesome. I can't wait to do it.
That's awesome. Hopefully you get some kind of film. You gonna film
I
it?
mean, we'll definitely record it. I'm going all out for the show and everything. I was having so many meetings yesterday about just everything, you know, not just the band but the production companies and stuff. That we're bringing a production company. We're not just showing up to the venue and having their house people kind of help set us up. I'm bringing a real production into it. I'm putting a arena level show into a rock and roll club. Like I've even been editing all these video walls. Like we're having video walls at the venue too, and um, and I'm just kind of I like putting my money where my mouth is, and I like just I need to put out the highest quality product that I can for people that are going to be at the show, and it's not just for me. It's I want to prove to everybody that we could really put on a high quality rock show. So I'm doing everything I can to make sure everybody that's bought a ticket is going to be the most entertained they've ever been.
So doing all this stuff for this your first headline show, do you feel pressure going forward though for other shows? Like you're gonna have to at least be at that level and can't go back down a little bit?
I mean, yeah, I've come to the conclusion that with every show that I do, I want to step up. I never want to let a show behind me be better. And it as far as headline shows, now we're getting offers to do more and more headline shows. It's like before, on Free, we booked this show, um, and it was significant to us because it was going to be our first headline show. But now that Young Wild and Free has been getting traction, we're getting calls left and right. This venue wants to book us here, headlining this and that. It's just like I'm putting so much effort in making sure this is awesome. But it's like I don't want to oversaturate in the area because like I've gotten 3 headline offers that would be all within 2-3 hours of each other within 2 months, and it's like I can't put that show on and within 2 hours of each other and within the same 2 months. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's always going to be pressure. If you have an amazing, amazing show, you always want to top it. So there's always going to be pressure that, you don't want to be worse than your last one, you know?
Well, good, man. I'm happy to be able to be on this journey with you because
Mhm.
I've known you for a couple years now, and I've been watching your career start to get up there. So
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting.
Thank you. You were one of my first interviews. I think it was,
Were you?
I think you were like either my second or my third or something like that. And like I said, I was saying this before we started recording, but it's a lot of my friends and family go back and watch the interview that me and you did. So that one's been sticking around. And like I said before the show, I had a list of people on the press run for Young Wild and Free that I was looking forward to talking to, and you, and also a couple other people that I've been looking forward to. So it was fun.
Awesome. Always a pleasure to have you back on, man.
Yeah, can't wait
So,
until next time too.
all right. So where can listeners that find you guys? I know you have Facebook, but do you have a website or anything like that?
Yeah. So I'm working on a main hub website thing, but right now we have a merch store, Gavin Evick Band store.com, or it's GavinEvickStore.com, one of the two. Yeah, so we have that, and you can find us on social media. We've all kind of been separate. I kind of just tell people just follow me because I update everything on my social media. Gavin Evick. Um, but now we do have a band page on Instagram and Facebook, the Gavin Evick Band.
Okay, cool.
So if you want to listen to our music, that's on all platforms possible.
Yep.
Now,
Young, Wild, and Free. You guys are promoting that right now. So awesome.
yeah, and it
All right,
seems to
buddy.
be pretty well.
All right, man. Thanks.
Thank you.